it's pretty simple. Get them into the fourth quarter, keep it close, play Villanova football.
For a busy coach to leave his office during the season, something important must be happening.
Big day for my man, Andy Talley.
And in the Villanova family, it is important. The validation of a career well spent, the passing of time and legacy. And today, the microphone in front of the media has nothing to do with the head basketball coach.
After 32 years as the head coach of Villanova football, Andy Talley will be retiring at the end of the 2016 season.
I think it's something that we had planned with the administration previously, trying to figure out what would be a good end date and a good succession plan. And what could be better than to have your associate head coach, Mark Ferrani, of 29 years, being an assistant, and your staff staying intact. Then I knew that everything that I'd built would be reinforced with Mark and the staff that's here now.
To describe what Andy Talley built is the same as talking about the history of the football program and its entire second act.
You know, Villanova had dropped football in 1981, and there were no football offices, there was no schedule, there was no team, there were no players, there were no assistants. So I literally had the ability to build this the way I wanted to. Villanova was a great name. I was a kid from the neighborhood. I used to come to games and knew the place well. And I thought it was the perfect rebuilding job if Villanova wanted to come along with me. So they did administratively. It's really worked out beautifully.
When I was assistant back in the late 80s, Andy Talley came here and started the football program. So I watched him from ground zero build this. And I was just so amazed how quickly Andy put that all together. And also, at that time in his career, how friendly he was to a young assistant like myself. Then coming back as a head coach, I knew he had been here for a long time, had great success, and I knew I needed to learn from him how to work that special magic at Villanova between academics and athletics. He was a great mentor to me, always has been, still is to this day, and I'll keep him there as somebody that I always rely on.
The football coach here has to understand that basketball is the national program, and for me, it's the #1 recruiter for Villanova football because we're on national television week in and week out. Every time that Villanova logo goes up, it sells Villanova football and the Villanova athletic program. So if you're in concert with that, if you understand that, I mean, Jay recruits for me. Really, that's what it's all about. So we've turned that into a tremendous advantage for us.
A recruiting advantage that brought Brian Westbrook to the main line. Not the only Wildcat who's been recognized as the nation's best player on Andy Talley's watch.
Brian Westbrook and Brian Finneran, and now our third, John Robertson, Walter Payton Award winner. So you're talking about the Heisman Trophy winners really at the FCS level. So surrounding those guys were a tremendous amount of players who have gone on and done so well in the real world, businessmen, teachers, coaches, etc. So I couldn't be more proud than, you know, we mixed that great combination of student athlete.
And in 2009, those student athletes reached the top of the mountain, or the edge of the Appalachian Mountains, in the FCS title game.
It was raining, damp, and cold, but we had the goods. We were down at halftime. I remember the locker room being as silent as it could be. There was nobody yelling and screaming. We were just a confident group. Matt Caesar and Chris Whitney. We had so many tremendous players on that team, and I knew we were going to win. I was convinced we were going to win. There were so many signs before that game that indicated to me that we were going to win. The day before we were practicing for that game in Chattanooga, a flock of geese flew over the stadium in the form of a V. And I used to do that in practice. I'd stop practice and go, look, the V. And the kids would laugh at me. I mean, come on. I mean, the karma was there. I knew we were going to win, and it was the greatest feeling. There was Villanova football in 1981 that was given up for dead, and we had to wait 25 years to get there, but we did it. And to be the best team in the country, that's as good as it gets.
A big part of that national title was also a major contributor to perhaps Andy's most important legacy, as Matt Caesar became the first Wildcat to donate life-saving bone marrow under Talley's Find a Match program.
This past season, we had 3 of our football players during the season donate and save a life. And yearly at our big bash, we bring in a donor and a recipient that one of our football players in those 60 college football teams have saved. So you can see the results of what we do through the power of football.
Andy Talley will always be remembered at Villanova for bringing back football and creating the perfect balance at Villanova between athletics, academics, and spirituality. And I really believe everyone will always point to Andy's tenure at Villanova as that's how you run a program at Villanova University.
It's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. I think that I've held to that, subscribed to that, have our players subscribe to that. So I'm excited to continue to be a part of the program. We have a brand new operations building that's coming out of the ground and will be finished in June, which is going to be an incredible building for all of Villanova athletics. It couldn't be any better. This is as good a run as any coach could ever want.
Good luck tonight.
Thanks.
Love you, man. Thank you.
Love you too.